Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Michael from the Honest Youth Pastor YouTube channel, the channel that helps believers use biblical discernment in all aspects of life. Today, we're going to be doing that by looking at a panel that was at a conference that was hosted by Rich Wilkerson's church for the VOO Conference 2022. Now, typically in this space, we would be using this for a sermon review, but I wanted to fit this in because I found it pretty interesting. It came across, for whatever reason, came across my YouTube feed the other day, and as I watched it and listened to it, there were some good things I heard and then some bad things I heard. So what I want to do today is look at this panel that VOO Conference hosted in 2022. I think it was 2022. Well, they'll tell us here in a minute. It's called Classic Christianity, and they go through and talk about some topics that I think are good topics, but I want to kind of talk about the questions that are asked and the answers that are given by this panel. Now, we'll go through who's on the panel here in a moment. So just so you know from the onset, this is one of the, normally in this spot, we look at sermons, we break sermons down, asking three specific questions. Do they do they read the scriptures? Then do they exegete the scriptures using context and culture? And third, do they preach the gospel? Now, I think we can still apply these same sort of rubric to these answers that are going to be given by these pastors, because when it comes down to it, they are operating out of a certain mindset, a certain hermeneutic. They're teaching their people via the sermons. So what's behind some of that in their theology? And I think we're going to see some of their theology within these questions and answers. So let's go ahead, hop over to this. If you want to watch this whole panel without my commentary, as always, link will be in the description below.
Very good.
You're asking some very tough questions. Yeah, these are hard questions, and theologians have been wrestling with these things for a lot of years. So don't be fooled into thinking every one of these answers can be packaged in 90 seconds, and now it's all buttoned up, and you go on about your life. It's part of the wrestle. It's part of the sanctification. It's part of the growing. It's part of you maturing. You're 17, and you have some questions, and then you're 37, and you're going back to that same thing, and you're asking questions, but you're seeing it from a different angle. That's part of the process. So don't think there's something wrong with you that you're questioning or you're wondering or you're doubting. This is actually God inviting you to lean into him even more. We just don't want you finding this out from Google. We just don't want you going to the wrong places to get this information. That's why I'm so glad you're doing this, Pastor Rich. You're saying, hey, in this space, it's a safe spot for you to go, what does that mean? That's why you got to be in a great church. That's why you got to be around wonderful people. That's why you got to be in a community of people that are pointing you to God, because it's not every way leads to God. Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. That's what he said. So since he said that, now what does that mean for my life? So it's okay with this wrestle, this struggle, this questioning. I like it.
Well, you're even bringing up.
So he's going to get into that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life here in just a second. But I want to point out that it is important. Like, I like what he said. I think that's a great interjection that he puts here in sort of we're only 15 minutes into the conversation. It's going to be a long video. I'm sorry. But this idea of you can't button all this up really quick. And I think that is important to know. Oftentimes, and I'll just interject this and we'll move on. Oftentimes what will happen is you'll learn of a theological idea. This happens usually within college or within early adulthood. You'll learn, hey, this thing that I was taught, there's more to it. There's more of a breakdown to it than I was told. So then you'll either say, well, obviously people were hiding this from me, or this other idea I just found out must be the right one then. And then you'll go into what's normally called cage stage and be like, I know everything I need to know about this now, and I'm going to fight everyone that disagrees with me. And the reality is theology is broad and deep, and you do have to wrestle with it. Now, there are parts where you do plant your flag, but you have to understand that there are other thoughts on that particular thing of theology. So you need to know them and understand them and learn them so that you can defend your position against the others. But understanding, what's something that is a closed-handed issue and saying, no, this is a primary thing. If you deny this primary thing, then you're not a believer, such as the Trinity, the virgin birth, the resurrection. And then there are second-handed things, such as, now some people wouldn't hold these as second-hand things, but I would, in regards to spiritual gifts, sensationalism, continuationalism, things of that nature that you can have discussions on, but still plant your flag in a particular area and defend from that position. So I like that he at least interjected, hey, these are a lot deeper than what we're even getting into today, which I'm glad he said that, because the answers that have been given thus far, I would say are fairly lacking in regards to actual substantive depth of the particular subject, whether it be what you're saved from, what you're saved to, what sin even is. All of that so far has been pretty lacking up to this point. So now Rich is going to take that verse that his elder referenced and then get into that a little bit.